thing that was cool about it, Rockers, their colors are blue and white, which were my high school colors. I wore the number 22. Larry wore 22. He was a running back. He was a punt and kickoff returner. So, everything that I did, he did also.
Right.
And so that was, pretty remarkable in itself. But I would never go, Virginia wanted me to take, movie pictures and everything about Larry. And I said, no. I said, I don't want to miss a play. And,
right.
Rocker in high school, they played both ways, and he played, corner on defense as well. And I didn't want to miss a play. And I said, I'll keep it all up in my, memory banks and whatever. I want to watch him play. And it was great. It was really fun to watch him play. He never thought he was any good. His confidence level was, I said, Larry, I said, I can go back, and I said, I can remember my career, my high school career, and compare it to yours, and you're head above where I was at that same time. And he used to think I was, just kidding him. I said, Larry, I'm telling you, you have the ability. It just depends on, how far you want to take it. So, but anyway, it was a joy to watch him.
You obviously are well known in this community, not just for your time for the Chiefs, but with the development of the ambassadors. Talk about how that program grew and how it's sort of morphed over the years. It's had its ups and downs a little bit, depending on who's running the show. But talk a little bit about the ambassadors, which is such an intrinsic part of the Kansas City sports scene these days.
Actually, we're in our 30th year. This is our 30th anniversary of being in existence. It was something that Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer, there was a small group of us. In fact, Buck Buchanan was still alive at the time, and so we went and talked to him and said, hey, we'd like to start this group. Basically, it was to help the rookies and free agents that were coming in, somebody that's new to the game, new to the area, new to the city, new to the team, and what we could offer to them was where do you go to bank? Where do you go to take your dry cleaning? Where to live? Where to get insurance? All those things that these young kids, they're out on their own for the first time, and that's what we would offer them. And everybody said, well, wouldn't the coaching staff or, people in the development offices or whatever. Well, at that time, there were no development offices.
Right.
And in fact, Carl went as far as he invited Pete Rozelle, I want to say it was probably in the mid to late 90s, to come by and see what we did, how we did it, and whatever. And Rozelle was so impressed with it that they went back. Now the player development office or whatever they call it, each franchise has one now, and that's basically what the ambassadors did. There was a couple teams, Buffalo, I know, Minnesota, and Denver had tried to emulate what the ambassadors did. But if you don't have the support from the organization, which Lamar was very, very supportive of us and loved it, then the organization, it wasn't going to work. Denver came as close to us. A gentleman by the name of Billy Thompson is a longtime Bronco, played safety, and then Larry Brunson, who actually played here too. They were the stalwarts of starting the group in Denver. But, over 30 years, we're up to 50 ambassadors now. The last three are Dante Hall, Christian Okoye, and Priest Holmes that have joined. And even though they're out of town, when they come in, they'll partake in the ambassador programs.
When you came to the Chiefs, they were an organization ahead of its time in race relations. And how did that resonate with you? I mean, I remember I grew up in the East Coast, just like you did. I was in the Boston area, but I liked the Chiefs. I was a Cowboys fan, actually, but I did like the Chiefs. I liked their style of play, but I also liked the fact that they were incorporating a lot of African-American players into the team ahead of its time, and that's a great thing about sports. But did that resonate with you at all when you came to the organization?
I don't recall that it did, Danny, but my two best friends, even till were Ted McKnight and Walter White. Unfortunately, Walter just passed a few months ago, but that was nothing. There was never any thought in my mind, the color of your skin and whatever. And in fact, back in, we're going back a long time, but, when jokes were going around and there was a name that, black guys would have for, they call them crackers. And then there was a number of names that we would have for those. And every time a joke would come out, and Ted would jump on me all the time. But when I got to that word, I would never, ever say it. And Ted would rib me to no end. He goes, "Come on, say it. I know you want to say it." And, and I never would, just out of respect.
Right.
So it's just, Danny, here's what I think it is. It's all in your makeup. Life's not hard. It's the people that are in it.
Right.
And I think we make too much out of simple things. And, in fact, I brought it up yesterday in a meeting, and I just said, the thing that irritates me about business more than anything, I said, if people would just leave their egos at the door and walk in, and, I think we could accomplish a whole lot more, if you're working as a team, if you're working for a company, whatever it may be, leave your ego at the door and we can get a lot of things accomplished.
What do you think you learned from your time in sports that sort of parlayed itself into business and then creating such a great organization like the Ambassadors, but also running your own business?
Basically, it's just, have the ability to listen, have the ability to ask for help. I knew I didn't know all the answers. Even though if you're a business owner, you think you know it all, but you don't. And sometimes you're just afraid to ask for help. It's just it's those types of things. I've learned teamwork in regards to what business you're in. If you have the ability to get a group of people, and every successful person, how do you become successful? Because you put good people around you, and everybody works for the same, goal. And and I think if you, like I said earlier about the egos, and if everybody's on the same page and they want to accomplish the same goals, then everything will work out.
What is it like now as an ambassador? The Chiefs have had relatively good success through the years. They haven't been obviously haven't been to the Super Bowl since you came to the Chiefs just shortly after that. But now it looks like a team that's going to be in that mix year after year. How much fun is it when the team is really rolling as a former player?
It is really exciting, and I'm a fan. I was fortunate to be able to play, but I still go to all the games. My kids still come. Now it's nice that, Alumni Day, Lamar would always bring all the alumni in, and we get introduced on the field. And, my granddaughter, that was the highlight of her day was, to see her pop down at on the field and that type of thing. So, but even till this day, we go to every game. We enjoy it. I just, watching it on TV is just not the same. I still love, I know a lot of people, a lot of fans, don't want to fight the crowds and all that kind of stuff. But to actually get out there and watch them play is pretty exciting. Andy Reid's done a great job since he's been here. And naturally, all the enthusiasm around the offense and Mahomes and whatever, it's a Sunday afternoons are the place to be in Arrowhead. I can't wait to the first game with what Patrick's done, with what the offense has done. Now with Coach Spagnuolo being in here, and hopefully the defense can be somewhat better than it was last year. How excited! I mean, they're going to blow the roof off of that stadium, come the first game.
Yeah. And finally, just a fun note, over the last couple of years, your Wikipedia page has popped up with an interesting note. You have an NFL record, actually. You are the person with the most touches in professional football history without scoring a touchdown. First of all, you did score a touchdown in a preseason game. I think it was, the second touchdown ever scored at Arrowhead? Is that
right.
correct?
I got a little story about that too, Danny, if I could run that by you.
Sure.
They, everybody knows Lamar Hunt, and he was just a special person, and to be able to have a close relationship with him. So the fact that you brought up about it's the very first game. It's the opening game of Arrowhead Stadium. We're playing the St. Louis Cardinals, and so we drive down, and Polak scores on a 2-3 yard run. In Lamar's suite at the stadium, behind his bar is a stained glass picture of Podolak scoring the touchdown against the Cardinals. So now to go back to the game, after we scored, we kick off to the Cardinals, and we held them for 3 plays. Donnie Anderson punts the ball. I am the recipient of the punt, and I run it back 80-plus yards for a touchdown. Well, it was a big bang play, and everybody remembered it, and it was just a big play. So for years and years, every time we had alumni weekend, in front of crowds and whatever, Lamar would introduce me as the guy scoring the first touchdown in Arrowhead Stadium. And it went on for, like I said, for years. So finally I got Lamar aside, and I just said, let me ask you something, Lamar. I said, if I scored the first touchdown, how come my picture's not behind your bar in your suite? And he looked at me and he goes, are you kidding? I go, no, I scored the second one. And he literally took a bar napkin and took a pen out of his jacket and wrote down, Larry Marshall scored the second touchdown and whatever. So that's the deal with that. But, yeah, it's just the thing about the record, that just recently came up as well. My brother had sent me a deal. I'm still in the record books for the Eagles for a number of things. And then that's when I found out. And he said, did you know you held an NFL record? I go, no. I said, it's probably just an Eagle record. He goes, no, this is an NFL record. And so I had to look it up. And I said, oh, boy, how dubious a record that is. But, hey, a lot of people could say, at least I could say I'm in the NFL record books.
And a lot of people didn't have 300 touches on kick returns. The other question I was to ask you as we wrap up, do you remember what's the closest you came to scoring the touchdown?
Yeah, I had quite a few of them. I was the kind of guy Danny, I would rather run over you than around you.
Right.
I was always real strong with my legs, and it was just now the more I thought about it, I wasn't a real fast guy, but I was more quick than fast. And, I had a lot of 30, 40, 50-yard returns.
Right.
Could never shake the last guy or whatever. And and I'll give you, because I played with Philadelphia as well, we played them here in 74, I believe. I think we lost like 14-12, 16-12, something like that. Pete Lisk was the quarterback, but Tom Dempsey was the kicker for the Eagles at the time. And, he at one time held the record for longest field goals. I actually broke 2 kickoff returns against them, and I was going towards the sidelines, and he literally ran me out of bounds both times. And the abuse that I heard about that.
Because he's got half a foot.
He didn't have a foot. He had an arm, and I said, that's all I heard for weeks and weeks and weeks was, how could you do that? Guy's didn't even have a full body. So anyway, but hey, it is what it is. But I was fortunate to be able to, be in that position to begin with.
And I know now that you're involved with lots of golf tournaments and fun things like that. You seem like you've really had a very satisfying life after football.
Yeah, I work for a company now called Great Life of Kansas City. It's a golf and fitness company, and so I get to go around town and pump up about fitness. What Great Life's trying to do is get the family back involved. Not everybody's a golfer, but the wellness and fitness part of it, everybody needs to do. And we have a bunch of fitness centers at our golf facilities. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to work on the millennials, the 20 to 40, 50-year-olds to, let them know that, hey, we do have these workout facilities. And if you want to go and try to, play golf afterwards or learn how to play golf, then that's a plus for us.
Larry, it's been a pleasure. And you're such a familiar figure around town. It's great to catch up with you and hear some great old football stories. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate it very much.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like
the Exit Room of Lee's Summit. Come with friends, family, colleagues, or a team to tackle the challenges of this unique escape room.